Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome. Today we're going to take a look at Vorwarts, the expansion to Crowbar. Now in Crowbar, you get to take charge of the Rangers as they attack Pointe Du Hoc on June 6, 1944 as part of the D-Day invasion. In this expansion, the sides are flipped and you get to control the German defenders in this solitaire game as you try to push the Rangers back into the sea. So let's take a look at what's inside and offer up some thoughts on gameplay. So let's get started. Now, just a quick reminder, in order to play Vorwarts, you need Crowbar. Don't get this unless you have this. This game has a solitaire, dual player co-op, 3-player co-op modes where you're playing the US Rangers attacking the cliff and up on the high ground and trying to take out the German emplacements on Pointe Du Hoc on D-Day in 1944. Vorwarts basically expands on this gameplay. Now, this does have a solitaire mode, a 2-player co-op mode, a 3-player co-op mode, and some contested modes too, but the heart is that solitaire experience and the solitaire co-op experience. This game flips it, and it's going to basically add 6 scenarios in 2 different directions. So let's get started and take a look at what's inside, but first we'll take a look at the back of the box. So as we look at the back of the box, we have age 14 plus. This does have a number of mechanics and a number of things added to the game. I think that 3.5 to 4 for complexity is probably a fair. Now, Vorwarts doesn't make it any more complicated. It does add some rules in order to play the different types of scenarios. We'll take a look at those as we go inside. Players is 1 to 2, but again, I think this is really the heart of this, is that solitaire experience. And even if you're playing 2-player, probably playing it co-op would be a better way to go, would be my guess. Playing time 47 minutes to 3 hours. I'm not sure about 47 minutes. It's the second time I've seen that on them. There's a meaning behind this, but I don't know what it is. However, I will say that one of the themes I think with Vorwarts is shorter scenarios. And there's 4 of the scenarios in this are established specifically to create shorter gameplay options than the full game in Crowbar. And we'll take a look at those as we look inside. Let's open it up and take a look at what is inside now. Now, because this is an expansion, this is a relatively thin box, maybe a little over an inch, we can expect a predictable paucity of pieces in here. And indeed, we have a rule book, some counters, and then under this is a player's aid. So let's take a look at the rule book, because I think this is a heart really of kind of what the games here, what the expansion here involves, and kind of clears up what you're getting and what kind of gameplay additions it brings. So it's 12 pages. There's a couple of mysteriously blank pages here at the back, and then a summary of rule changes on the back. There aren't really rule additions so much. There are just changes to make the game work so that it's playable from the German side. Now again, you get 6 scenarios. There are 2 scenarios that you can play as the German side, and we'll take a look at those counters momentarily. The Wehrmacht strikes back, and this is one that happens on the afternoon of June 6th, where the Wehrmacht is going to launch a counterattack and try to drive the Rangers from the cliffs. So that's scenario 1 here. Scenario 2 is also the night assaults. This is playable as the Germans. It's a night assault excuse me, to drive the Rangers off the cliffs as well. So this is the heart, really, of the expansion pack. These 2 scenarios, and we'll take a look at the counters that enable that momentarily. However, there's more. There are 4 other scenarios in here, and each one of them has kind of rules to modify the original game that allow you to basically, this one is Fox Company scenario. So again, this is a shorter game that's going to allow you to play just as Fox Company with the Crowbar game. So this is going to be 1/3 as long. The main game has 3 companies, Dog, Easy, Fox, all attacking. This cuts that into thirds and says just play as Fox Company. So that'll speed up the gameplay and make it a shorter game experience. And there's a few rules, because each company is somewhat unique. There's a few rules that you have to make and adaptations to the rules to make in order to make this scenario work. Likewise, we get a Dog Company scenario, which has rule modifications to play just as Dog Company. And then over here, we get the rules for Easy Company scenario, which gives you all the different modifications you need to be able to make. And they're like a page and a half for each one, so it's not very complicated. The modifications you have to make in order to be able to play just as Easy Company. Then lastly, there's a shorter playtime solitaire scenario where instead of starting with the Rangers coming in a landing craft up to the beach and then going to have to get up onto the cliff, there's a setup option here that starts the game with the Rangers on the cliff. So that will significantly speed up gameplay as well. So this is in essence kind of the heart of this expansion pack. Those 6 scenarios, 4 that shorten up the main Crowbar experience playing as the Rangers, and 2 that add the Germans to be able to play that night assault and that counterattack on the afternoon of June 6th. And with with that, the only thing that you really need in terms of components to be able to play that are these counters. And so let's take a quick look at them. So basically these left-hand counters here are the German counters that you're going to use when you're playing the German scenarios. And they've added a step system here. They've got a high of 8. And then these units, the Rangers in the Ranger game, they go down by 1 point each. So you've got 10 all the way down to 1, and then the unit is eliminated. These, however, get depleted by 2 points for most of them. The high of 8 to 6, and they go down to 4 and then 2 like that. So they step down by 2. And then we have rally points was a big mechanic for the Rangers. These are the rally point markers for the German units. And then you're going to be attacking kind of foxholes and kind of revealing foxholes to see what's in these foxholes. And if we flip these over, we can see a lot of them are empty, Rangers found, and things like that. And then there are a couple more events here that trigger: machine gun suppression for the Rangers, and then sneak attack and determined advance for the Germans. So it kind of basically morphs the rules and gives you the counters to be able to extend the gameplay and play from the other side, playing from the German side. And so that's a look at the counters. There is a playing aid. It's rather straightforward. It's just kind of, get this out, a summary of the rule changes here that are kind of involved with playing the game from the German side. So this is basically kind of an explanation on the things that change and how you have to change some of the events and what the Ranger foxholes and how they work and things like that. So, you know, most of that 12 pages we saw are really outlining the setup and how the kind of the structure of those scenarios work. So the rule changes for the game are actually, surprisingly to me, surprisingly light. So it looks like it's going to be relatively easy to adapt the game to be able to play from the other side. And there you have it, a look at Vorwarts, the Crowbar expansion. If you played this, let me know down below. Do you like it? I'm kind of very curious to see how it plays, and I will be bringing gameplay from Crowbar and/or Vorwarts to the channel at some point in the near future, so I'm looking forward to getting this to the table. It looks like a fascinating and a very creative system, so I'm excited to get it to the table. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you have enjoyed this, once I do get the gameplay sessions up, I'll put a link to them right up here, so feel free to check those out. If you'd like to check something else in the meantime out by Flying Pig Games, you could check out our unboxing of A Most Fearful Sacrifice, which is their massive game covering the Gettysburg campaign. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.